Hello, in this video we will discuss about the fasting physiology and their cellular approach. So basically the fasting in Islam we will discuss in this manner. Basically start from the pre-dawn breakfast, and after this start to require the fasting 14 hours. So here is first of all you should need to understand their digestive system. So here is esophagus, liver and stomach, and intestine, rectum. So in this way the esophagus is basically during fasting will repair, and their epithelial cell will repair because it will not functionally work, and liver which that is used for the catabolism, and stomach will prepare the acid secretion, inhibit the it used for the repair, and the microbiota improvement in the intestine and changes, and there are the repairment, and rectum is used for also the repair. So here is the cycle of the fasting. Here is that during the daytime the fasting will occur due to the start point here, and in this way you can see this is the fasting is 14 hours which that is required, and in this way the catabolism will trigger while the anabolism will inhibit. While here is the after the sunset the dinner will improve the anabolism, and in this way the night time throughout the night time during the sleeping time it will repair the whole body, and pre-dawn and breakfast again will cycle throughout the month in the Ramadan month. So this is the fasting. After the opening the fasting, so the analysis of the serum proteome. So the proteome mean that the basically is the formation of protein which that is due to the different function of the cell, and we can analysis, and it is the serum proteome analysis which that is give the upregulated proteomic signature, and in this way the basically anti-cancer proteome, that protein which that require the anti-cancer processes which that will improve, and on the other hand the DNA repair protein also improve, insulin signaling improve, glucose and lipid metabolism will be increased due to the serum proteome analysis checkup, and cytoskeleton remodeling related genes as activation to produce protein, and immune system and cognitive function will be improved. So here you can see this is the circulatory system. Let's begin to understand their physiological aspect, and after this we will discuss about the cellular function during the fasting. So remember fasting play important role for the autophagy. So here is the heart contain aorta and the superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and pulmonary vein, atrium and ventricle. So let's draw a bigger picture here, and this is the basically the blood circulatory system which that during the fasting the hypoglycemia will be occur, mean the glucose will be down regulate, and in this way the hypoglycemia will repair, will give the positive feedback to the pancreas for inhibition of the insulin, while the increase of the glucagon, after the increasing of the glucagon so the catabolism will begin. So how it's possible, let's begin to understand here. So this is the increase of the glucagon. Glucagon is very important for the destruction of the cell, while on the destruction of the macro molecule, not cell, and epinephrine also produced, but here we will not understand about that. So this is the muscle myocytes contain receptor, glucagon receptor bind or epinephrine binding site. So bind to cascade of phosphorylation will lead to glycogen phosphorylase enzyme used to production of glucose, and this glucose will lead to enter into the blood circulatory system will increase, so the isoglycemic activity will be occur. While here is the liver, This liver also contain a glucagon receptor will bond with the glucagon due to the higher concentration of the glucagon in the blood circulatory system. So after this binding the glycogen we convert into the glucose as well. But important thing you should need to understand that adipose tissue will also degrade due to the binding of the glucagon will degrade the enhance the glucose also, but the free fatty acid from the triacylglycerol break down through a human sensitive lipase enzyme to produce more free fatty acid. This more free fatty acid go into the liver. After the liver go into the liver, the FGF21. The FGF21 is the basically is the gene which that activate into the liver will produce the FG factor 21. So what is the function of FGF21? Let's we will also understand, but here is the also the free fatty acid will convert into the acetyl CoA to produce the beta hydroxybutyrate, acetaldehyde and acetone. This is the ketone bodies will produce, which that is the alternate form of the glucose, and it is the lightweight as compared to the glucose and easy to consume. And here is the stomach, which that's going to repair the during fasting while the microbiome will be improved. What does that mean? The microbiome is very important mutualistic bacteria which provide the vitamin K and their short chain fatty acid. So that will be improved. It means the brain will be improved. So here is the free fatty acid also produced from the adipose tissue, adipocyte, and it will convert from the triacylglycerol into the free fatty acid through a human sensitive lipase enzyme after the binding of the glucagon. So remember, so these free fatty acids go into the blood circulatory system and increase the fatty acid into the blood circulatory system will lead to go into the liver also to produce the ketone body, and also the free fatty acid through beta oxidation produce the energy. So this is the major energy source is the fat rather than the carbohydrate. So here the brain cell, which that is the neuron, after the FGF21 factor, which that will go into the brain, also enhancing the brain, and in this way the brain uh, fibroblast growth factor 21, which that is known as the FGF21, and here is the enhance the BDNF, the brain basically it is the uh, used for the phosphorylation of the MAC and ARC1-2 pathway, and the CRAB pathway will lead to bond the DNA will produce and protection, and in this way the neuroplasticity will be occur. One important thing is you should need to understand here is the BDNF basically is the um, um, brain dependent neuropeptide factor will bind to lead to produce the more protein for protection of the neuron, and the cognition will improve. While here is the peripheral tissue, which that is bind also the fibroblast growth factor 21. After the binding, the regulate the glucose uptake and longevity will be increased. So in this way, the different pathway we will not understand. That just this is the overview. And on the other hand, the adipose tissue will lead to thermoregulation, thermogenesis, activity, and metabolism of fat and lipids. While let's begin to understand the cellular pathway. So here the mitochondria as well as the nucleus, which that's contain DNA, and this is basically is the fasting time will lead to enhance the NADH. mTOR pathway will be inhibit. Why? Because the mTOR pathway is used for the cell survival, and in this way the mTOR pathway will be decreased. So the decrease of the mTOR pathway will lead to autophagy of the damaged cell, while the AMPK pathway activated mitogen protein kinase pathway will lead to enhance the CRY1 after the binding with the here is the clock DNA, which that is the PMAL1 gene, which that will lead to enhance, while on the other hand here the NAD plus increase SIRT1 and SIRT2 pathway will increase through a NAD plus increase, and acetyl-CoA will increase through a ketone bodies and free fatty acid will lead to increase the ATP through mitochondria oxidative phosphorylation. And on the other hand, here is the mitochondrial biogenesis and autophagy and will increase due to the decrease of the mTOR pathway. So the improved performance and stress resistance. So the stress will not occur because the damaged organelle as well as cell will be apoptosed. So the apoptosis will be occur through a necrotic apoptosis as well as the programmed cell death. So here is the alignment of circadian rhythm through these gene expression, and stress resistance will be increased. Cell repair and survival will be increased. Autophagy will be increased, and neuroplasticity will be increased due to the brain dependent neuropeptide factor activation. So this all thing is due to the fasting, and this fasting will change our body, and autophagy will increase lead to decrease cancer. So